told you that on a flight carrying 300 laughing passengers, there could be one traveler who will never wake up. No passport check, no boarding group, no carry-on bag, no sea assignment, yet they're still on the same aircraft as everyone else. It sounds like the beginning of a horror movie, but this happens every single day. Somewhere in the world, right now, a passenger jet is carrying someone who died hundreds or even thousands of miles from home, and almost nobody on board has any idea. The airline doesn't announce it. The cabin crew doesn't mention it. The passengers never find out. But why? How does someone who has already died travel across oceans? Who prepares the body? Where is it kept before the flight? Can just anyone buy a ticket for a coffin? Could turbulence damage it? What if the person died from a dangerous disease? And perhaps the biggest question of all, why do airlines keep this process so quiet? Today, we're following one final journey, from the moment a person dies in a foreign country to the moment they finally arrive home. By the end of this video, you'll never look at the cargo hold beneath your seat the same way again. Imagine this. A man leaves his home for what should have been a 2-week vacation. He hugs his wife goodbye, promises to bring gifts for the children, boards an international flight full of excitement, but he never returns alive. Days later, his family receives a phone call no one ever wants to answer. He's gone. Their world changes in seconds. Now comes a problem most people never think about. He's thousands of miles away. How do you bring him home? You can't simply buy another airline ticket. You can't put a coffin on a plane the way you check a suitcase. And you definitely can't show up at the airport with a casket expecting to board. In fact, moving a deceased person across international borders is one of the most carefully controlled transportation processes in the world. Every document, every signature, every seal must be correct. One mistake, and the journey stops before it even begins. The first step starts inside a hospital or morgue. Doctors officially confirm the death. Without that legal confirmation, nothing else can happen. Authorities issue a death certificate. Investigators may become involved if the cause of death isn't immediately clear. If an autopsy is required, the process pauses until it's complete. Only after the authorities are satisfied can preparations continue. This alone can take hours, or even days. Meanwhile, the family waits, not knowing exactly when they'll finally bring their loved one home. Next comes something many people have heard about, but few actually understand: embalming. Hollywood often portrays embalming as something mysterious or frightening. The reality is much different. Its purpose is practical. When someone must travel for many hours, or even several days, natural decomposition has to be slowed. Specially trained professionals carefully prepare the body with dignity and respect. The goal isn't to make the person look alive. It's to preserve them long enough for a safe journey and a proper farewell. Not every country requires embalming. Some accept alternative preservation methods. Others make it mandatory before international transport. Every nation has its own laws, and those laws can determine whether someone flies tomorrow or next week. Then comes something surprisingly complicated: paperwork. Lots of it. Most people think a passport is enough to cross a border, not for human remains. Depending on the countries involved, there may be health certificates, embalming certificates, transport permits, consular approvals, customs documents, and identification records. Miss just one required document, and the airline can legally refuse to carry the body. Imagine waiting at the airport, only to discover one missing signature means your loved one cannot leave the country. It's heartbreaking, but these rules exist for an important reason. Every country wants absolute certainty about who is entering its borders, even after death. Now the coffin itself. Many people imagine an ordinary wooden casket. That's not always the case. International transport usually requires multiple layers of protection. Inside is a sealed container designed to prevent leaks. That container is placed inside a strong coffin. Sometimes an additional protective shipping crate surrounds everything. The goal isn't secrecy, it's safety. Every seal is inspected. Every label is checked. Every measurement is recorded. By the time it reaches the airport, it's already gone through far more inspection than most passenger luggage ever will. Now, picture the airport. Thousands of suitcases move across conveyor belts. Families rush toward security. Children stare at airplanes through giant windows. Everything feels normal. But somewhere away from the passenger terminal, another process is quietly taking place. The hearse arrives at the cargo entrance, not the departure gate, not the check-in desk, the cargo terminal. Only authorized staff are allowed inside. Ground crews verify every document. The coffin is inspected. Its identification is confirmed again. Airline cargo specialists carefully plan exactly where it will be placed. Nothing is left to chance. Here's something many people don't realize. The cargo hold beneath your feet isn't just a giant empty room filled with luggage. It's divided into different sections. Some areas carry baggage. Others transport live animals, fresh flowers, medical supplies, sensitive equipment, and sometimes human remains. Everything has a designated position. Weight distribution matters enormously. Even a few hundred kilograms placed in the wrong location can affect an aircraft's balance. That's why cargo loading follows precise calculations before every flight. The coffin is securely restrained, so it cannot move during turbulence. It's treated with professionalism, not because it's unusual, but because procedures demand it. So, do the pilots know? Yes, usually they do. Every item loaded onto an aircraft appears on the cargo manifest. The captain is responsible for knowing what's on board. But don't imagine the pilots discussing it during the flight. For them, it's simply another carefully documented cargo item, requiring proper handling. Professional, respectful, routine. Now, let's answer one of the biggest myths on the internet. Can a coffin suddenly burst open because of air pressure? The short answer, no. Modern passenger aircraft have pressurized cargo compartments. They're specifically designed to carry sensitive cargo safely. Properly prepared coffins are built to withstand the conditions of flight. Movies love dramatic explosions. Reality is much less exciting. Thousands of successful transports happen every year without incident. Another rumor claims passengers' luggage is stacked directly on top of coffins. Not exactly. Cargo loading follows strict procedures. Items are positioned according to size, weight, destination, and safety requirements. Now imagine the flight itself. Passengers watch movies. Some complain about the food. Others fall asleep. A baby cries somewhere near the back. Meanwhile, beneath the cabin floor, someone is taking their final trip home. No announcement is made. Yet for one family waiting on the other side of the ocean, that aircraft means everything. But what happens if someone dies from a contagious disease? This is where international health regulations become even stricter. Certain infectious diseases require additional precautions. Sometimes special containers are mandatory. Safety always comes first. History has shown just how important these systems are. After natural disasters, air crashes, earthquakes, or major international emergencies, airlines have helped return victims to their families. Behind every coffin is a name, a story, parents, friends, children, dreams that ended too soon. For the workers handling these flights, this isn't simply cargo. It's someone's entire world. Many ground crew members say they become even more careful whenever human remains are involved, not because the rules change, but because compassion takes over. Eventually, the aircraft lands. Passengers grab their phones. But below the cabin, another team is already waiting. The coffin is unloaded separately. Documentation is checked once again. Customs officers verify every permit. Funeral professionals receive the remains. Only then does the family finally get to say goodbye. Perhaps the most surprising part of this entire story. So the next time you board an international flight, everything may seem completely ordinary, but somewhere beneath your feet, inside the carefully organized cargo hold, there may be someone making the last journey they'll ever take. Not as a passenger, not as luggage, but as a loved one, finally going home. And maybe that's the most human journey of all. If this story surprised you, there are many fascinating things about aviation that most people never hear about. from the hidden rooms inside airports to the secrets beneath airplane cabins. If you like to uncover more of those mysteries, make sure you stick around for the next video. You might never look at air travel the same way again.